everyone, and welcome to another episode of First Look Final Word, podcast where we take you along to see a new movie with us. I'm Pete.
And I'm Trevor. How's it going? We are in my basement where we didn't go anywhere.
Whoa, what happened to your little tagline you've been doing?
I didn't know what to do with, I thought I'd do his laugh.
No, you ruined it now. Oh well.
There you go. That's fine.
Yeah, but
we'll cut around that.
Yeah, this week's episode is, is it Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F?
Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F.
Still don't like that net title, but whatever.
No tagline on
There's
Letterboxd.
no tagline? Is there nothing on Netflix? The official synopsis.
The synopsis is 40 years after his unforgettable first case in Beverly Hills, Detroit cop Axel Foley returns to do what he does best, solve crimes and cause chaos. And I can say that's the exact same synopsis that comes up on Netflix.
They must have just copied it.
Well, it's pretty good, much better than our usual fare.
Yeah. Is it what he does best 40 years later? I feel like he should be retired by now.
I feel that what he does best is trick people to get into places.
Right.
Like he doesn't really solve crimes too much. Like it's always like pretty obvious who the villain is.
Yeah, like going back and looking at them, it's not like he wasn't like some super detective or anything. He just, like you say, he just kind of stumbles about and finds obvious crimes, but tricks his way to like getting them done for it.
So yeah, full disclosure, I was not the biggest Beverly Hills Cop fan before 2 days ago, but
there we go.
I've now caught up.
Do you drink the Kool-Aid then? Are you a big Beverly Hills Cop fan now?
I love the first two.
Oh, really?
I think
the third one goes a bit far. You're right.
Yeah, I think I was going into the third one saying like, this might be an instance where, everyone's just wrong. I'm going to discover this hidden gem. And I'm like, oh no, this is dog shit. This is really bad.
Watching them back to back like you did, it probably just makes it way more obvious of like how different it was. Because if you compare the first to the third, it's like not even the same character.
Yeah, like it goes from like being like 4-star plus movie to 3 stars, like still pretty decent. Then like
that's fair.
1 star, like what are we even doing here?
Yeah.
I don't even think he does the laugh in the third one.
He's like, no more laugh.
I don't think he like plays a character to impersonate someone to get something.
Yeah.
And like he's not really funny in the third movie, although the third one is like really wacky and goofy.
Yeah.
But he's
I've not seen that one for a long time. I only rewatched the first one this week. I haven't seen the 2 or 3 for a long time, but I do remember feeling pretty much the same way you do about it.
Yeah,
the third one just seemed like it was like a different movie altogether.
I literally finished the third one an hour ago, so I'm ready to talk about how shitty it is.
Yeah, I did want to watch the third one just because obviously that was the last one made before this. Like how many years ago would that have been?
94.
It's 94.
So it's like full 30 years.
30 years.
Okay, It's crazy that 1994 was 30 years ago.
I know, right?
We're getting old.
Yeah, let's not get into that.
It's like a time I just like distinctly remember is now 30 years ago.
Yeah, I guess we didn't really comment either when we started here that we're not actually driving anywhere this week.
I thought I said that. I said we're in my basement.
Oh, did you? Sorry, I wasn't listening, obviously.
Yeah, so we're returning to the scene of the crime for our episode Star Wars Episode 1 of Phantom Menace.
True, and we're also returning to our Netflix review because we did Spaceman.
Yeah, yes,
so go back, check that out because that was a good movie.
Yeah, well, this is something we want to do like every now and then because often the biggest movie for that week is on streaming.
Mm-hmm.
This week it still seems like it's Inside Out 2.
Yeah, that's been just killing everybody. I guess A Quiet Place has been out for a bit, but
yeah, I don't know how that's. It seems like that's doing okay, but it's like a horror movie. So
and I've heard it's not that great.
Yeah.
Oh well. Maybe a later episode.
We'll do horror at some point.
Yes, we'll definitely get into horror at some point.
I'm excited for Nosferatu. I think that.
Oh yeah, really yeah. Well, maybe we'll do that.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, what's your history with Beverly Hills Cop? You said you've seen them all, right? But
yeah, I have seen them all. I remember. Well, it was just like growing up. It was just one of those things where it's like everybody knew what it was. And honestly, I think the theme tune gave it a lot more credence. Without the theme tune, I think it would be less beloved.
There's a reason why this movie is called Axel F, right? Because that's like the main legacy of the movie.
Yeah. Not even Crazy Frog could ruin that.
Well, I showed the first one to my wife earlier this week, And then the theme came on, and she's like, "Oh, it's Crazy,
It's Crazy Frog." They used the Crazy Frog
she'd
song.
never seen it before. I think she had never heard of the movie before, which is crazy to me. But she's not really an action person.
Yeah, I remember the very early days of cell phones when you could have personalized ringtones. Like the Axel F tune was a very popular one because you could easily do it on a phone.
Yeah,
like beep 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 beep.
Did you pay $2 to get that?
Oh yeah, right. Called in and you got the premium fixed ringtone. It was that and Indiana Jones were the best ones.
Oh yeah, no, I heard a few people with that one.
Yeah. I remember those days, 30 years ago, I guess, whatever it was.
And so you liked? Is it like you liked the first one?
No,
really
I remember liking them all. Like when I was younger, I liked them all. I just liked the character of Axel Foley and just liked him doing stuff. But like looking back, I don't even think I was watching them when I was that young because they're not super appropriate, really. But I do remember being a big fan and like even liking the third one when it came out and just being like just because I was a fan of the series. But yeah, like looking back, I'm like, yeah, it's not great.
Third one almost seems like it's made for kids.
Yeah, it's a bit more. Yeah, it's a bit more mainstream, right? They took the edges off it and just made it into sort of a generic action movie.
Yeah, it's just something that no one can enjoy. Like,
it's like honestly, why do we need this?
It has some of the worst like action direction I've ever seen in a movie.
Oh, really?
Like
I have to go back and watch it because I really don't remember that much about it. I remember there was a scene where because they're like printing counterfeit money, right? Is that the main bad thing? And then there's a bit where he changes it to print on his face or something, his face on the note or something.
Yeah,
that's literally all I remember from the movie.
Like I have so many bones to pick with this, and I won't go too far into.
Yeah, let's not make Beverly Hills Cop 3 tear down here. But
there's like there's a Secret Service agent in the movie, and like there's a double cross. It turns out he's working for the bad guys the whole time. But during the first initial chase, like Axel Foley is chasing the bad guys who just shot his lieutenant, it's like kind of like a father figure to him.
Right.
But there's Secret Service agents who just like stop him in the middle of the chase and say, "Oh, don't worry, this is a part of a federal investigation. You know, you're getting in the way," and then cause him to stop. And then later on in the movie, it turns out that they were working with those bad guys the whole time. So like that Secret Service agent was just waiting in that random street to stop this cop from his pursuit.
Yes, that sounds like a perfectly well constructed movie to me, Trevor. I don't know what your problem is. No, maybe we'll do a retrospective.
Maybe that should be our classic episode.
Yeah, we'll do a retrospective. Beverly Hills Cop 3. Or not.
And yeah, on that subject, like we have a few slots coming up that we were thinking to slot in a classic movie episode. We've done a few of these so far. We did one on The Shining. We did one on Phantom Menace. I think that's it.
Police Story.
And Police Story, yeah.
That was a great one.
So yeah, if you guys have any good ideas about some classic cinema we should cover.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Okay, so on the subject of the week, we're going to talk about buddy cop.
Yeah, I figured that would be a good time to talk about because we're not something we've talked about before, so why not, right?
Yeah, I feel like the first Beverly Hills Cop is not really a buddy cop movie that much, but like Beverly Hills Cop 2,
they definitely made that one.
It's him and Taggart and Rosewood in the car. Like
they kind of figured out in the first one like that relationship worked pretty well, but they didn't really use it that much until towards the end. Even that was only like one scene.
Yeah, but like Taggart and Rosewood are my favorite characters of this franchise. Like, and I love Judge Reinhold.
Remind me though, Taggart was not in the second one.
No, he was not. One? He was not in 3.
Okay, he was the only one that read the script and was like, no.
Yeah, I guess like he was like holding out for a little bit of money. Or something.
They can't make it without Taggart.
I could only just assume. But Judge Reinhold's in all 3.
Right.
His like lieutenant is in all 3.
Oh, is he? Oh, wow. Because who was Taggart and Rosewood's lieutenant in the first one?
Yeah, it's Bogomil, and the name's now escaping me. It's the guy who played Jellicoe on Star Trek.
Yeah, because that's what I was like. I was like, he looks so familiar, but I couldn't remember his name.
And he's in like Total Recall.
Yeah, Total Recall. That's what I remember him from.
And I'm so mad that I'm not thinking of his name right now.
I was like, that's the guy from Total Recall. Because I was like, he's a bad guy.
Yeah, so he gets shot in 2, but he doesn't die. But he's also still not in 3.
Oh, okay. But they got the whole gang for this one, right? If I'm remembering the marketing materials correctly. I know that Taggart's in it. He looks like he's on death's door.
So I searched.
We'll do some live Googling here.
I searched Jellicoe.
Jellicoe.
And then it came up with like a Jellicoe gym in Swift Current.
Nice.
So it's Ronnie Cox.
There you go.
I knew that name. I caved under pressure.
There you go. We'll just edit to make it seem like you knew it.
He's not in this one.
He's not?
But he's alive. He's 85.
I was going to say, is he alive?
Yeah.
I was surprised Taggart's alive. He looks like he's going to be bopping around with a Zimmer frame.
Well, how old would you guess Taggart was in the first movie?
Honestly, like I've seen so many things now where people back then just looked older in movies, so he was probably like 24.
No, he wasn't that young, but I think he was 35.
Yeah, that makes sense. He looked like he was 50.
Like 50. Yeah. So like it's he was only like.
So I guess that makes about like
12 years older
still
than Eddie
make him
Murphy
like in his 70s, right?
Yeah, well, like because Eddie Murphy was like 23 when he did the first movie.
Yeah.
So like even though Eddie Murphy's been around forever, he's still not that old. Like he's just in his mid 60s.
Yeah, I do worry though, because I feel like the great thing about Eddie Murphy back then in those movies was just like his energy and his just like his youthful exuberance, and that stuff he's doing these days is like he just seems like he's just tired. You're just old now. You just don't stop trying to do it.
I can't think of the last thing I saw him in live action.
No, I was thinking that as well. I've not seen him. I've sort of avoided him. I guess probably Coming to America.
Oh, that's right. I did see that and I hated it.
Yeah, which is I kind of worried that this is going to go down the same route. It's like, oh, they're just trying to rehash. You remember that character you loved? Let's bring him back. He's kind of old and overweight now, and not very funny anymore. But here he is.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about this one, to be honest. Yeah. But you never know. Like I think from the trailer, it seems like they're looking to kind of go back to basics with this one.
Well, let's hope so.
But yeah, on the subject of buddy cop movie.
Yes. So should we get into it?
How would you define the buddy cop movie?
That's a tricky one because it's usually a cop, at least one cop.
Yeah, at least one.
Or two, and two conflicting personalities. Yeah. Usually one straight man and then one look crazy in some way.
Yeah, I feel like it's like it doesn't have to be a comedy, but there has the relationship itself has to be like somewhat comedic. Yeah,
it's two guys investigating something who wouldn't normally be together investigating something. Yeah. It's pretty much how it is.
I feel like. Do you think 7 would qualify? Because I feel like it's not lighthearted enough to really qualify as a buddy cop.
You wouldn't want to say it's buddy cop, right? Because like you say, it's a bit too dark.
And it's still like it's just
Plus, I don't think they're different enough. Like one's more just like older and younger. I guess
they're both like earnestly trying to be the best cops they possibly can be.
Yeah. I wouldn't imagine. I don't know. Did Morgan Freeman say he was too old for anything in that? Like another serial killer. I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah, he said, "Don't look in the box."
He did. He did very much say that. But he was
too old for that shit. Like he was.
He could have said it. He could have said it, and it would have worked. No, that was a good shout. Though that's not one I'd thought about. I guess technically you could say it is based off of the description I just gave. Two guys trying to investigate
but it doesn't feel right.
It just feels like they're normal partners though. It
does.
There's a difference between just partners doing stuff and a buddy cop, I think.
So one of the movies on my list is kind of like, I guess like adjacent to 7.
I said Jason. I was like, Jason?
Yeah, Jason X.
Jason X, the buddy cop version.
It's Memories of Murder by Bong Joon-ho. It's sort of like the Korean 7.
Oh, really?
So it's a dark procedural in the same sort of way.
Wow.
But it's also quite funny, even though it's disturbing. And the two cops in that one, it's like a young city cop comes into the country and then helps like a little bit older kind of bumbling country cop, and you got that sort of dynamic.
See, that sounds perfect.
It's really amazing.
It's what people come to the podcast for. Trevor brings his like obscure Korean movies, and I'm like, what about Lethal Weapon?
Well, I got Lethal Weapon on here too. I mentioned that one first because like it has a lot of similarities.
No, I'll have to check that one out. That sounds pretty interesting. No, but I was thinking because I feel like when I hear buddy cop, I'm like, it's pretty much just 80s, 90s when they did that. They don't really do it well. anymore, and it's pretty much just like they went through a stage of doing a bunch of them.
Well, they kind of just perfected it in the Shane Black stuff.
True, very true. Yeah,
we said Black. I assume Lethal Weapon's on your list.
Yeah, definitely Lethal Weapon.
So are you a one guy?
I like one, but I like them all. I'm going to be honest.
I think one's the best for like the buddy cop dynamic because they just become best friends after that.
Exactly, and just the introduction of like Riggs in that is just like.
Well, like Riggs during the first one, he almost blows his brains out.
Yeah, he's literally having a psychotic break in the first one. Then he just turns into like, oh, he's just a bit wacky. Yeah, like he's literally got PTSD. Is like if you considering suicide constantly through that first one.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty dark,
but it's so funny too.
It really is.
That movie's a little bit of a miracle.
Definitely. But yeah, talk about Shane Black. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah,
does that count?
Well, it for sure counts, and
definitely
it also takes place at Christmas.
Well, that's the Shane Black rule, right?
I think we mentioned both Lethal Weapon and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang during our Aquaman 2 episode, so check that one out.
There you go.
We were talking about alternate Christmas movies.
I think I remember that.
You like that movie a lot, though, don't you?
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's a great movie. Yeah, I'm a big Shane Black fan, and I love that one.
So they're not like actual cops in that one either, right? So
no.
But I feel like it's still the same sort of.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I was like, does that really work? That's why when I was saying it before, it's like two people investigating something.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't necessarily have to be buddy cop.
So I in that vein, I had Men in Black on my list. So
that's a good one.
Like
that's a great
cops,
one,
right?
Yeah,
but like they're basically like playing.
No, that's perfect
FBI
though.
Agents,
yeah,
right?
that's not one that came to my mind, but no, that's a great one.
Yeah, like I like a lot of these buddy cop movies have like the young guy and the old guy thing, and like
exactly.
That, like has any movie ever done that?
No, perfectly right. Yeah, and that's a bit like parallels to Beverly Hills Cop as well, with like urban guy coming in and showing the older white guy, straight-laced white guys how to do it like him.
Well, there's definitely like there's a lot of Axel Foley in Agent K.
Exactly, yeah, definitely. Yeah, what was it? I just one came to mind that I hadn't thought of, and I just lost it again. But the one I did want to mention was something that the one I was trying to mention on a previous podcast when it was a movie that deserves a sequel that's never had one.
Okay,
is The Nice Guys.
Oh yeah.
I loved that movie so much, and I would love to see them do another movie with those guys because they were so good together. But yeah, I love that movie.
And yeah, that's another Shane Black movie, right? Yeah, and he directed that one too.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
yeah, that's like probably my favorite Gosling performance. Like that's
it's so good.
Yeah,
and the two of them in that play off each other so well.
The script in that movie is just so perfect.
Yeah, it's so good.
And then kind of similar sort of light. Like I really like 48 Hours.
Definitely. Yeah.
I prefer 48 Hours to Beverly Hills Cop for my Eddie Murphy.
That was his breakout, right? Was that his first ever movie performance?
I can't remember 48 Hours is first or Trading Places is first, but I think like his first three movies were basically 48 Hours, Trading Places, and Beverly Hills Cop. What started?
Well, he signed that huge contract, right, with the studio. Was it Paramount? I don't know who it was, but I
think Paramount.
I think they signed him to like a 7-picture deal or something, and they're like, this guy is hot. Everything he does is just like, just makes money.
Yeah, like 21. Like
it's crazy,
absolutely insane. Because he made SNL when he was like 18 or 19 or something. Like I think he might still be the youngest cast member ever, though I'm not entirely sure.
I guess that's why it feels like he's been around forever, right? Because he pretty much has.
Well, I know him a lot from like his dad family movies.
Yeah,
like
I know we were considering getting into Eddie Murphy stuff, but I don't know because I was a bit the same. It's like interested to know your thoughts on that sort of late stage Eddie Murphy stuff when he got into his Nutty Professor and
Nutty Hercules.
I remember liking that first movie. I'm not gonna lie.
I love that first one. Well, I like the second one too, but I think if you had watched it today,
Christmas with the Crumbs or whatever.
Christmas with the Clumps.
Did I just make that up? I feel like that.
I don't know if that's real. It sounds like a real title.
I feel like it's a different movie. It's not Clubs, it's Crumbs or something.
Isn't it Christmas with the Cranks?
Maybe that's it. just really want to see a Christmas.
If he doesn't do a
Nutty Professor Christmas special. that was a fever dream or something. No, but yeah, I think after Nutty Professor 2, it kind of just went a bit downhill for some of that stuff he was doing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he did a decent movie again until Bowfinger.
Bowfinger. Oh my gosh, I forgot completely about Bowfinger. I love that movie.
The only good Eddie Murphy movie from the last couple of decades.
Yeah, and I think that was was that 2000?
It's got to have been early 2000s, yeah.
Yeah, it was a Frank Oz movie.
Yeah, right, was it?
Yeah.
Wow. No, I remember liking that one a lot. That was like Eddie Murphy's back, and then he wasn't back.
Yeah. Gotcha, sucker.
Yeah, what was that movie he did a couple of years ago? Where he played the real life.
Well, he was in Dreamgirls.
No, not that. He played. Oh, what was it? I'm going to kick myself. I should have looked it up. He did a movie that was based off of like a real actor, I think.
Oh, was that Dolomite?
Was it that one? I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, I heard it was very good, and I didn't see it, and I don't even remember the name.
Yeah,
of it.
I feel guilty. I never ended up seeing that one either.
But I heard that was like him back on form as well. So he's maybe still got it in him. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe. Here's hoping.
Yeah.
Any other buddy cop movies you want to rattle off?
There's one, and I can't remember. I think Shane Black wrote it, but then he didn't write it. They brought him in to do it, and he hated it, or someone hated it. But I have a soft spot for it because I really like it. It's The Last Boy Scout.
You know what?
Did you ever see The Last Boy Scout?
It's a blind spot for me, right? It's
funny because
is that Damon Wayans, Bruce Willis?
Yeah, and I think I think it's generally regarded as not a good movie, but it's just like your quintessential buddy cop, like action movie stuff.
Yeah.
Like I just remember the very last scene when Bruce Willis is talking to him, and he's like, "Well, he's like, you got to do a quippy line when you punch someone." He said, "You can't just punch a guy in the face. You got to do a quippy line after you do it." He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, say a guy's got a surfboard. You hit him with the surfboard. You go, surf's up, punk."
And that's funny because like so many movies have done that same thing since then.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So I remember really liking it, but yeah, I haven't gone back and seen that in a long, long time.
You know, it's been on my list for a long time. My family rented that when I was younger.
Oh, really?
And they made me go to bed. I didn't get to watch it.
Yeah, it's probably
didn't happen very often in my
It's
house.
probably just a very, very generic and hits all the beats that you expect a movie like that to hit. And when I was younger, that's all I needed. I loved it.
Well, I really want to check that one out.
Yeah, I do. I quite like it.
We were talking about this movie on our Police Story episode, but Super Cop, like Jackie Chan and Michelle Yeoh,
right?
The teaming up.
Yeah, I've not seen that one.
Well, yeah, you had a couple of Jackie Chan.
Yeah, there's tons of Jackie Chans that I haven't seen.
Yeah, so that's Police Story 3, subtitled Super Cop, just mostly known as Super Cop here, but their dynamic's quite good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like plays like the very like buttoned up person, like, and obviously like he's the buffoon, right?
Right, Jackie Chan.
And that's like her first big movie. And then I had a couple others on here. Like when you were mentioning Shane Black, I thought you were gonna say Last Action Hero, because I think he did some punch up on that script.
That's kind of like not a good movie though.
It's kind of like parroting the buddy cop formula with him and a kid.
Him and a kid. Yeah, I remember. I loved that movie when I was younger, and then I tried to rewatch it like last year, the year before, and I couldn't get through it. It's pretty poor.
It's got some rough spots. Like I feel like it's the core of it. It's a great
concept. Oh man, definitely.
And like just like the execution just wasn't quite there.
No, sadly, I think the kid actor didn't help. I think he's a bit rough.
No, well, kids suck. Like kids are not good actors.
Yeah, that's very true, Trevor. Put it out there. Add it to the list of things Trevor hates.
Yeah, so what, like children is that on the list?
Kid actors, Kenneth Branagh. Like Kenneth Branagh directed kids in something who would cause Trevor to just like burn it down.
Did he do like Artemis Fowl?
Is that like your worst? Is that like your most hated movie?
I never saw it because I never read the books or anything.
No, I've never read it or seen that either.
That was just like a Disney Plus movie, and it had like 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. Everyone's like, "This is the worst thing that's ever existed." So, but that one has Kenneth Branagh directing.
Well, there you go. Maybe you've cracked the code, Trevor.
Okay, well, maybe it'll be like two negatives make a positive.
Maybe. We missed anything? What else?
Well, I've been holding this one back.
Oh, here we go. He's going to bring it
out.
Hot
Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz. Fuck yeah, I should have got that one.
And that's like obviously like Nick Frost in that movie like loves buddy cop movies, and he keeps talking about them. Like,
well, I guess what are the ones that he brings up? Point Break,
I guess.
Boys too. Right? Yeah, I guess we didn't mention those either.
He's like, which one do you want to watch first?
Yeah.
Or, no, which one do I want to watch? Which one do you want to watch first?
Man, that's such a good movie.
Yeah, would you consider Point Break a buddy cop? I guess, like he's
right?
a cop and he makes a buddy.
I guess if we're going that far, what about Fast and Furious?
Yeah.
The first one, at least.
Because I guess like it still has that same dynamic at the core to it.
I guess not. I don't know if you'd call that buddy cop, right?
You'd be stretching it a bit, right?
Yeah,
but well, anyways, in Point Break, Keanu and is it Gary Busey? Like they have a buddy cop. I think it's Gary Busey.
In Point Break?
Yeah. Like Gary Busey's his partner.
Oh, and like his actual partner. I don't remember Gary Busey in that movie at all. I've not seen Point Break for a long time, if we're being honest.
But yeah, like Hot Fuzz, my favorite Edgar Wright movie.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree.
I quote it all the time. I've seen it like 20 times.
I mean, I love Shaun of the Dead so much, but Hot Fuzz is just, like you say, it's just so cool. But it's just done so well. Like parodying those movies, does it so well, but it's such a good movie as well. It's amazing.
Yeah, and like Shaun of the Dead's a really well edited movie too, but like Hot Fuzz is just like it's perfect, like just down to an absolute science for what it wants to do.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch A World's End because I didn't like it when I saw it.
I liked it better on the second.
I didn't love it, and I had a friend of mine who was a huge Edgar Wright fan, and he was like, "No, it's amazing," and I was like, "Is it though?"
I still think the ending is not great.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of what's holding it back from being like as top tier as those other two.
It's hard to live up to those other two, right? Especially when you're ending out the trilogy.
But I liked it a lot better. My second, I think I've watched it 3 times now. I think that's like Simon Pegg might be his best performance in that movie.
Yeah, I think I definitely need to rewatch that one because I think I just had like high expectations going in, and then it wasn't exactly what I was expecting, which is not fair on the movie. I think I said that about last week's one as well.
So a couple more just rattling off my list. I had.
He's not driving this week, so he can read them off his phone.
Yeah, usually I have to send them to Pete, then get you to cue me up a bit. So Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Oh yes.
So the other 2 Die Hards wouldn't really count.
No,
but he's Die Hard with a Vengeance. Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yeah, definitely.
And like a lot of these buddy cop movies, they're like one is this race and one is this race, or one's from a different country or something like that.
Very true.
My other example is Rush Hour.
I was just going to say, when you said that, I was like, Rush Hour.
And I think Rush Hour 2 is the better one.
Yeah, I love those movies as well growing up. The Rush Hour movies I used to really enjoy. But I mean, how can you not like Jackie Chan and
I feel like they'd
Chris Tucker in
I feel like they'd still hold up.
Chris Tucker mode. Yeah, I see people like drop clips of him online sometimes. Like there's some funny stuff in those movies. I don't get love. All
right, maybe that's our classic movie rewatches.
Yeah, we'll do Rush Hour. We've got a big long list of stuff we're gonna do.
All right, so any other buddy cop?
I was trying to think, have they ever done it well in like animation? But I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Oh, like Zootopia.
There you go. I was like, there must be one. I can't remember what it is, but Zootopia is a great one.
Yeah, like that's perfect. Jason Bateman as the Wily Fox. Mm-hmm. I don't know who plays the bunny in that one.
No, I don't know either. Judy Hopps. What's her name?
Oh, you remember the character name?
That's the character name. I remember the character name. I don't know who did the voice.
That's good. I don't know another one for animation. I guess like
I was wondering if Pixar must have done it at some point, but I can't think of one.
Shrek is a little bit of a buddy cop movie.
Yeah, a little bit. You got Eddie Murphy in there too.
My brain.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, so I guess that's
probably enough chat about buddy cop. Got any final thoughts about Axel Foley? What's it called? Beverly Hills Cop Axel F.
Well, I just saw that this is the director's.
Who did direct it? I guess we didn't really give that much information.
Mark Moley. Molloi. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that last name correctly.
Never heard of him.
It's his feature debut.
Okay.
He was a showrunner for a show that was on Quibi before.
I don't even know what Quibi is.
So Quibi is like that short-lived platform that just specializes in like really short shows.
Oh, okay. Oh, that does sound familiar.
I didn't watch anything on there, but I think they're like...
How did he get this gig then?
I have no idea.
He must have impressed someone.
Yeah. So
maybe he's just cheap. They had to give all their money to Eddie Murphy, so they couldn't afford to pay a director.
Well, like Eddie Murphy for most of his comedies now, like he's sort of like stealth directs it. Although
that's fair.
I think he's generally not interested in directing.
Right.
I think he directed Golden Child. I think is his only.
Oh yeah, I forgot that movie. I like that movie as well.
But yeah, like he's kind of like those like veteran comedy stars. They always kind of end up just being like the de facto director of their movies now. Because
that's fair enough.
They're just like, well, I know what's funny. So let's just do it.
I'm just gonna do what I do, and you just point the camera at me.
Yeah. So yeah, what are your expectations going into this one?
They're low, but I'm expecting it to be bad. So I feel like even if it's half decent, I'll be happy because it'll be it'll come above my expectations.
I think this will be better than 3 because I think it's just going to be a like tighter script, like a simpler story. And it's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt, like who's.
Yeah, my concern is that it's just going to be like, hey, remember all these great things you like? Like they'll have him do the okay sign and stick a banana up a tailpipe, and it's like, yeah, we don't need to see that anymore.
You know what?
Or try and stick a banana up a tailpipe, but it's like it's a Tesla or something.
As long as they got my boy Rosewood in there, I'm going to be happy. And like Taggart's back.
Yeah, there's not going to be any. I feel like there's not going to be a ton of action in this one. Although maybe, I don't know. Like,
maybe not a ton of.
There's not a ton of action in the first one, by the way. I was watching it and I was like, "There's not too much happening."
Just like the final shootout, right?
Yeah, and the opening like big car chase thing.
Oh yeah, the opening car chase,
which I had absolutely forgotten. And it
seems like it belongs in a different movie.
It definitely does, and there's not really any setup to it, and there's no repercussions from it, which seems crazy. He should have definitely been fired for doing that.
Yeah, the second movie is much more of a.
That's what I think. He wanted to be an action star when he came back for the second one, because the first one, like the most action in it is like he does a forward roll.
Yeah,
he jumps off a step and does a forward roll, and it's like, wow, look at him go.
Maybe this one would be a little lighter on the action, more on the comedy,
more cop, less like
more on the nostalgia, probably.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get to it. If you're new to the podcast, Pete and I are going to watch the movie, then hop back on, give you our immediate reactions to what we just saw. Spoiler free before getting to spoiler talk.
Yeah, we'll do a nice little bit of spoiler free stuff, so don't feel like you have to drop off right away.
Okay, see you soon.
Yep, don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone. We just finished watching Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F. I don't know why I can't remember the name of it. It's
kind of a bad title.
It's a mouthful, right?
Why they wouldn't just call it Beverly Hills Cop 4? Yeah, I guess it's less exciting. But like Axel F is a bad title.
I guess they must be going for the crowd that have never seen a Beverly Hills Cop movie before.
That's true.
But if you throw up there, it's the fourth one. It's going to stop people wanting to watch it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, anyways, how'd you like it?
I liked it. I thought it was pretty damn good, actually.
I thought it was pretty solid. Like, our expectations were not high going into it, but I say I thoroughly enjoyed it all the way through. Like we were laughing.
To be honest, I think it's probably the best they could have done with a fourth Beverly Hills Cop movie so long after the fact.
Well, yeah, like. Some things I'll nitpick at a little bit, but I think tonally they really nailed it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's a couple of things that I guess we can get into, but yeah, overall I thought it was great.
They really leaned back into the comedy aspect, which I appreciate.
Yeah, it was a lot more like the first one. I thought, but even a lot of the beats were a lot like the first one, and a lot of the they were really going the nostalgia road, but I feel like they handled it really well. Yeah, they did.
All the fan service in there kind of was earned.
Yeah, and there was quite a bit of it, really, to be honest. But it never seemed like it was just sort of crowbarred in.
Yeah, they were hitting a lot of the same beats as that first movie, including similar songs that they're playing on the soundtrack.
Too. The opening for sure. Right? The opening was exactly the same.
Yeah, and I appreciated that as just going through all the movies this week. I don't know, it felt like a very well done, executed sequel that's 30 years after the last one.
Yep. And I also thought they did a real good job of. He didn't look like an old man trying to run around. I thought he looked pretty decent.
He's looking good and like he not too much running, I guess.
No, he didn't do a forward roll in this one. No front flips, but but he did enough. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I think they did a good job with like the buddy cop aspect because both his daughter and Joseph Gordon-Levitt were his partners at one point in the movie.
Yeah, I can see a version of this movie that doesn't have the Joseph Gordon-Levitt character in it, because I think you didn't necessarily need him, but I think it was better for having him in. I think you needed somebody. He couldn't have just paid him and his daughter. I don't think that would have worked as well.
Yeah, I agree, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt's a guy that I don't always like in things that he's in, but I think he was pretty good in this.
Yeah, I like him. I think I usually enjoy what he does, but no, I thought he was good in this.
I just don't like when he does accents. I almost mentioned him in our episode on accents for what you did for the bike riders.
Oh yeah. Wow, what did he do an accent in?
Do you ever see The Wire? The Walk.
The Walk.
The one where they like.
Which one was that?
It's where he did a tightrope walk.
Oh,
across, like the World Trade Center.
No, I didn't see
he's
that.
Doing like a terrible French accent.
Well, he's always playing a real guy though in that, right?
He's playing a real guy, but he's doing a French accent the whole time.
No, yeah, that doesn't sound like that would be very good.
In Snowden, he's just like,
oh, there you go. I've not seen either of those, so that's probably why.
Well, he's just trying to do Edward Snowden's voice.
Yeah.
And Edward Snowden sounds something like this.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Like, I don't know why. Like, just use your regular voice. Man.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, right?
Math on what Edward Snowden.
He did a pretty good Bruce Willis impression in Looper.
Oh yeah, that's true. Maybe I owe him an apology. I do love Looper.
Yeah, that is good.
And yeah, like I don't really know the actor who played his daughter, but
no, I didn't recognize her. Yeah, I thought she was very good because that could have been a role that kind of, if it was done really badly, it could have just been a bit like, could have been an annoying role.
It's always a bit risky, like having like a new character introduced that's like an adult kid.
Yeah,
old, like because Die Hard did that.
They definitely did. Yeah, I was getting some Die Hard vibes for sure, but I think it did a much better job. Did a much better job than Die Hard.
Yeah, well, and Die Hard also did the thing where like his new partner is like a love interest of his daughter or whatever. But this one kind of handled it a bit better.
Oh, yeah, a lot better. Yeah, I think the comparisons are not really fair in that way, even though they're very much similar.
And so you were saying going into the movie, you were like worried that maybe Eddie Murphy had lost it a bit for his comedic touch. Did you say like he's? I know. I thought
he was really good in this. Actually, I thought he was as funnier in this than he's been for a long time. It was like old school Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, and like the character's not like as energetic.
No, before,
right, but like
he couldn't be though, right?
Yeah, he's found a good balance for it, and there are a lot of like him doing bits and like him pretending to be people, which I think is the best part of Axel Foley's character.
Yeah, like it seemed like
role playing.
It was very believably this is Axel Foley, but older. Like it wasn't like, oh, this is Eddie Murphy trying to do an old character. It was like, no, this is a really good job of like this is very believable of what the character would be like 30 years on.
Yeah, when I love that, like, he's still just like a street cop, because it's very believable that Axel Foley would, even though he's like a brilliant detective, not really want to move up.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And after being in a Detroit cop for like 40 plus years now, like every person on the force knows
everyone knows who he is. Yeah. And somehow he hasn't been fired though, I feel.
Yeah, well, because they established it early on that Paul Reiser has risen in the ranks and is kind of
protected it. Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah, and that's the thing that I did think they did well, like you said, like all the fan service bringing people back. Because I was a bit worried about that as well. They're going to be like, oh, they're going to have like the three of them together trying to do cool stuff, and it's just going to look weird because they're all so old. Yeah. Which we don't have to get into too much spoiler about the plot specific, but that didn't really happen, and I didn't get to that. It was like, oh, they're just trying to do this when they really shouldn't. It's like they kind of knew, like, hey, we shouldn't do that. Let's find a different way to do it.
Yeah, they were kind of restrained for how they did that.
Exactly.
I think it was like a really good example of like, you know, having legacy characters
Yes.
and new characters mixing together.
Yeah, it did a really
Like,
good job.
pretty impressed by the movie overall.
Yeah, like, but really focusing on the new characters versus the legacy characters, I thought, which works really well.
But I think they had good excuses for why the legacy characters were in it a little bit more.
Yeah, it wasn't just like, oh, and here's this one, and now we're going to spend time with this one, which they kind of do, but in a way that sort of makes sense and you can actually use.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to look up like who the credited screenplay is by.
Oh yeah.
So Will Beal, Tom Gormican, Kevin Eaton.
I don't know how many people you just listed.
3.
Okay. It's just names.
Yeah, just like a really good, tight screenplay. Like
it was. Yeah.
Obviously, wasn't an easy task to put this project together. So like, and also credit to the director who I was kind of ragging on for having.
Yeah, that's fair. You give him his props.
But I think he did a really good job. Like, you know, action comedy is really tough.
It's tough.
Especially like with a Netflix movie, which they can kind of kill that sort of stuff. But
yeah, because this has been around for a long time as well, right? We didn't even talk about it before, but wasn't there a TV show planned with like Michael B. Jordan as his son?
That's right. Yeah,
I'd forgotten about that, but now I'm thinking about it. I was pretty sure it was in development. That was in development for a while.
A Beverly Hills Cop, like 4/TV show has kind of been in the works since like the late 90s, basically. Like they've been.
Yeah, I think at one point they were just going to have like him hand it off to his son, and then him not be in it anymore, but then keeping it going, which would be horrible.
That's pretty lame. And like I'm a huge Michael B. Jordan fan, but like he is not funny. Like
no, that's very true. I'm not getting that wrong, right? It was Michael B. Jordan. It was attached to it. Did I just make that up?
I have no idea one way or the other.
I'm sure it was.
Sense because like, you know, he has the right like star power and like right look for it, but like he's just like no one could be.
He's not an Eddie Murphy, right? Yeah, like, nope.
You'd just be like, yeah, I'm Axel Foley's humorless son.
Yeah, like he'd have to be the straight man. They'd have to get someone else, get him a partner that's like Axel Foley, which would just be weird. No.
So there's like, without spoiling, like there's Rosewood and Taggart in this one, and we knew that going in. How'd you feel about them? Like,
I thought they did a good job. Like I say, I was worried because of especially how old Taggart looks, but they like really leaned into that, and they were like, we're not pretending to be, we're not pretending to be those guys. We're those guys that are now very old.
Yeah.
I think Joe Reinhold, I've not seen him for a while, but I don't know. He looks like he's been like hitting the Botox or whatever. He looked like he was turning into the Joker a little bit, but other than that, I think he was really good in it.
Yeah, no complaints from me. Anything else you want to get into before we get into spoilers?
Not really. No, just I thought it was really solid. The one thing I do miss is that I'm hoping somebody does like a redub and just every time he laughs, they put the Eddie Murphy laugh in, because I think that would have just made it perfect. There was 2 or 3 times where it would have just been a perfect end to a scene.
It's got to be. I really want to look this up because it has to be purposeful that he's not doing the laugh.
It's very intentional, right?
He hasn't done the laugh since the second movie now, so it's been 2 full movies since he hasn't done.
I wonder if like the laugh was just a shtick he was doing, and he's like, I'm not doing that anymore. Because you can't like consciously not laugh how you normally laugh, right?
It's definitely a deliberate choice by Murphy. Like for some reason he doesn't want to do it anymore. Like maybe he thinks it's like stupid, degrading or something.
I guess like a more than a laugh or whatever. But
so
it's just so quintessential. Like I know Axel Foley though.
I kind of miss it. Like, you know, but if he doesn't want to do it anymore, he doesn't want to do it.
I don't know. I feel like he could have just dropped it in at least 2 or 3 points there. Like, you don't have to overdo it, but that's nitpicky though. The guy didn't laugh like he laughed in the 90s. But well, yeah, I'll have to look into that and see if there's any scuttlebutt online about why he doesn't do the laugh anymore. Now I'm curious.
He's looked
it up. He's Googled it.
I just did a quick Google. So it says.
He had an operation on his sinuses.
No, like after Beverly Hills Cop, people kept going up to him.
And doing the laugh.
And it was annoying the hell out of him. So then he stopped doing it.
That's fair.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, but come on, bring it back. It's been a while. No one's going to do it anymore.
I guess like if like every single person on the street was doing to you, like you would like want to blow your brains out. So
I mean, I guess, but come on.
but it's not like, but now like it's a thing that he's not doing it now, right? So either way, it's still controlling him.
That's really weird. I wonder if like that was just how he normally laughed and he had to train himself not to do it. Or maybe just like it's a movie, right? So, do you think he laughs like that in real life, but not in movies?
I don't think he laughs like that in real life. Like I think that was a character choice.
Yeah, it must have been, right? Yeah, that's too bad. Oh well.
Well, I'd say like, you know, a definite watch from both of us, and
yeah,
it's just on Netflix now, guys. So there's no risk to you. I think put this on. I would definitely say like at least watch the first 2 Beverly Hills Cops before you visit this one, because there's a lot of like character beats that would make it a much more satisfying watch. I wouldn't really go into this one cold. No,
there was a lot from the first one because I watched it just last night that they kind of tag up on this one. So I'm interested in, once we get into spoilers, we'll talk about how it ties into the second one, like you're saying, because I don't remember that the plot or the specifics of that movie at all. So there's probably a couple of things that went over my head a little bit, but
well, it's just like the, you know, just some certain character beats. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's nothing like, I don't think you will need to have seen any of them really to watch it, but yeah, at least the first one.
At least the first one for sure.
And
all the important characters are there. There are some extra characters who make a drop in, but that'll be spoilers, so we don't want to get into that.
Exactly. No, but definitely way better than I was expecting. Like I thought it would be mediocre at best, but it was actually decent.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, so about to head into spoiler talk now. Why don't you guys drop us a line at firstlookfinalwordpod@gmail.com if you're going to drop off now. Let us know what your favorite buddy cop movie is.
Yes. What have we forgotten?
Yeah. All right, so heading into spoiler talk now.
Yeah. All right, you've been warned, guys.
1, 2, 3.
Let's do it. All right, where do you want to start?
Well, so we've been heaping praise on the movie. I want to nitpick a little bit.
Yeah, I know. There's a couple of things I could want to nitpick with it.
The one thing that was kind of bothering me, and like a lot of movies do this with like, you know, sequels take place a long time after, and then the child's also involved, and like the relationship's a bit estranged.
Yeah.
I feel like it's completely out of character for Axel Foley to be a bad dad, even though like we didn't really see him as a dad in the movies, right? Because but if you see from like even just the first movie, personal relationships are absolutely everything to that guy.
Yes, that's very true.
So like it really doesn't square with me that he would just like let the relationship with his daughter drop.
Right.
Because you even see between the first movie and the second movie, all the cops that he became friends with in Beverly Hills, he's going on fishing trips with them and he's calling them every week.
Yeah.
So it doesn't like, it seems like that guy just like he lives on, you know, the friendships that he makes with people. So that just doesn't square with me that he would not.
Yeah, that was a more of like, we need that for the plot versus it makes sense for what the character would have done.
Yeah. No, and also with like Taggart, I don't really believe that Taggart would be that bad of a cop. And like,
yeah, that was what that rubbed me the wrong way. It's just how he pretty much screwed over Billy, and it's like that would not happen. And they kind of pushed it under the rug at the end. It's like, hey, sorry about all that.
I should have had your back. He's like, you should have.
Yeah, and then they just kind of go over it. But I was like, no, it's a bit worse than that. He literally like gave up playing his back because you didn't believe in him.
Well, because like in the first movie, when they're about to do the raid on the house or whatever, Taggart's like, Billy, we can't go inside there. And Billy's like, I have to go in. I'm sorry. And he goes in, and then Taggart's like, oh shit. And he goes in.
Yeah, it's like wait for me.
He would always have Billy's
he's always
back.
got his back. Yeah.
So like, that's a little hard to believe. So like, those are the two like character beats like that. I understand why they did it. They did it so that the movie had to happen.
Yeah. For reasons, right?
Because like, you can't just have Axel Foley come in then, oh, it's my daughter. Hi, how's it going? We have a great relationship, because that's not a very fun
that's
movie,
kind of what I was worried about as well, is that he was going to come in and it would be just like, hey, it's Taggart and Billy, and they're still hanging out and friends, and now we're all three of us are friends again. Let's go on a stakeout.
Yeah, it is much better how like I'm happy with the movie as a final product. I just think like, you know, the it goes against what those characters would have been like.
Yeah, that's true.
But it did make for a better movie. So ultimately, I'm not complaining too hard about it.
No, that's fair. Like the very end scene with them all in the car. It was just like that was
very satisfying.
Yeah, that was very satisfying. But at the same time, that was kind of my worry because there was no reason for that to exist. There's no reason why they would be in a stakeout and he would jump in the back of the car. That doesn't make any logical sense of why they'd be doing that. But so I was worried that was going to be the whole movie.
Yeah.
But like the fact that they didn't do that, but then they did it at the end, just to be like, okay, this is what you wanted to see.
I think that's great. Like I think
that's how you do it properly.
That's
right?
good fan service. Like the complete opposite of how Star Trek Picard did it.
Yeah.
Because they just gave fans everything they wanted, like right throughout the whole show. Like we're worse off for it. Like you don't like have to give fans everything they want. Like,
true, very
kind of like just hold it back, exactly like this movie did. I think that was the right call.
Yeah. I thought they did a really good job of hitting the fan service notes, but also like not letting them take over the actual movie and having it be a movie and with its own things going on outside of that. So
like, if you said to me like that, Rosewood was only going to be in this movie for like, 15 minutes total, I would have said like that it would be to the detriment of the movie, but I think it was probably to the movie's benefit that he wasn't in it too much for the exact reasons that you're saying.
Yeah, both of them, right? Yeah.
That's saying like I enjoyed every moment that Rosewood was on.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's such a great character, and like it's very interesting how Reinhold has played the guy as he's aged because the character's changed a lot too.
Right. Yeah, like he was so innocent in the first one, right?
Yeah. No, and then Taggart just looks like so damn old now.
He does, but they played it so well. He's like, I am old and I'm tired and I'm dealing with old people stuff.
Yeah, because he wasn't in the third movie. They said that he had retired and he moved to Arizona.
Oh, right.
And
so
now he's I came back because I
back out of retirement.
And I got back together and I can't stand her.
Yeah, that was a bit like we're just gonna retcon that stuff in the third movie. I'm still here. The one thing I did think about it, just when we're talking about like nitpicking and negatives and stuff, I kind of did feel like it did sort of drag a bit for me in the middle. I felt like it seemed a bit like they could have trimmed some of the fat off that. Towards the bit where they get arrested and framed with the drugs, I was just a bit like, okay, like, and it was all interesting stuff. Like them stealing the helicopter was so funny. But I just felt a bit like I think they could have tightened up the pacing on some of that because it just felt like it was kind of overlong to me. Yeah,
the helicopter, like it did end up being a pretty funny scene, right? But
I think just feel like you could have jettisoned that.
You could have taken that out and been 10 minutes shorter. Yeah, it might have been a better movie.
Yeah,
it's a pretty funny bit though that like he just was bad at flying the helicopter. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, and like honestly, I feel like he kind of needed that for his character because otherwise he's just kind of...
He was way too competent.
Yeah, he was way competent and they didn't give him too much to do. He just kind of hung out and was kind of like, I'm always here. I'm really good at shooting people.
Yeah,
and,
I'm good at accessing my feelings.
Yeah, that's basically all it was, right? It's like... So I guess they gave him a little bit extra stuff to do in that scene with the helicopter. But yeah, it was a bit like, I don't really know if it needed that.
Yeah.
Even though it probably cost them quite a bit to do as well, to be fair.
Well, I was just looking up at the budget for this movie. Actually couldn't quite believe it. It's like...
They're pretty cheap.
No. $150 million is what it said.
Wow.
Like,
yeah, because I was looking at it and I'm like, didn't seem like there was much like effect shots in it. Didn't seem like there was anything too crazy going on. Like, I don't know what they would have spent their money on, I guess.
Oh, Kevin Bacon, obviously.
Get that Bacon money.
$150 million. Like, that's a crazy amount of money. Like is that all just going to Eddie Murphy
he must have got a lot of it, right? I would imagine he got a big chunk of cash for it.
Like, I've never been able to wrap my head around Netflix's operating model. Like, I can't understand how they can spend $150 million on a movie, then not release it into theaters at all. Like,
well, they just go, oh, by the way, we're putting up our subscription by $5 a month, and also we're having ads now, and we're getting all that revenue in.
Yeah,
they've been printing money for like decades at this point.
Actually, you know what? That's a good point because I have an ad tier Netflix, and I don't think we saw a single ad that time. Right?
No, that's true. I don't know how have they even introduced the ads yet though? I thought they were slowly doing it.
We're on the ad model because
I saw a notification saying like, oh, if you don't upgrade like the base tier now is going to be the ad model.
Yeah, they're getting rid of it in Canada.
But I didn't think they'd introduced it properly yet.
No, yeah, we've been on it for like 2 months or whatever.
Oh really? Did you notice the ads then?
Yeah, you notice them like as I was going through the other Beverly Hills Cops this week, like
watching them on
they were
Netflix.
pretty aggressive. I have suspicions that the algorithm adds more ads like the longer you've had a subscription, because the first month we had it, we're like,
this isn't too bad.
It's only been like 1 30-second ad per half-hour show. Right. It's not too bad.
It's like, you think it's good, do you?
Now it's like 2 or 3 now. So I feel like there's some algorithm at work here to kind of get you gradually used to it.
You just bump it up. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, because I guess I don't watch a lot of Netflix, so maybe I've just not noticed. But no, there's a whole ton on Prime these days.
Yeah, like I noticed on Prime they were doing a thing where they would show you, say like, hey, it's going to be ad free, but we're going to do like a minute of ads at the front.
Yeah, they did that a lot.
Which I thought was a lot better. But now, like I was just watching The Boys earlier, and
it's like, can't get through an
5
episode.
Ads in there, man.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Just like, why don't I have a cable anymore?
Yeah, it might be time to start canceling these.
At least like the Netflix ad tier is like $6.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
It's not bad, and like it's all
for now.
Well, because they're getting rid of the base like non-ad model, so be at least another year of this. So see how it goes.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't understand how, like, is anyone else subscribing to Netflix because the new Beverly Hills Cop movie is on Netflix? Like, I don't understand how you can still spend $150 million on that.
Yeah, well, I feel like they used to be the guys for original content. They don't really have much of it these days. Like, they
have been really scaling back.
Like, what's the original content on Netflix that people are clamoring for? I don't know what it is.
Well, if you're my wife, it's Bridgerton.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. No, that is popular. I'll give you that. But yeah, I wouldn't know what else.
I don't know. It seems like 3 Body Problem is a big show. I haven't seen it though.
I watched that. It was all right.
Is it expensive?
It looked expensive. Yeah, you could see them spending money on that.
It's the thing. Like they spend a lot on like some key choice projects and then do a lot of other crap for cheap.
Yeah, they do have a lot of crap on there. Like they just buy up a lot of crap as well though. Just slap a Netflix sign on it.
What did you think of the Surge?
I was unsure how I was going to feel about that, because I was like, do they need to crowbar him in? But then when he was in, I was like, you know what? I just love that he was in there. Even though he's like, get the fuck out of here. He's like, no, I cannot. I'm like, that's kind of lame that they would just redo that. But at the same time, I thought it was actually pretty cool.
I don't know what they did, because like everything we're describing.
Yeah, it seems like it would be bad, right? Yeah.
Like, but they do it well. They did it really well. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I feel like all the cameos and stuff were just like handled with like the exact way to make it not be cheesy.
Yep.
The Paul Reiser stuff was good.
Yep. And just fit the story real well. Yeah. I don't think they didn't really crowbar anybody else in though, right? Are we forgetting someone?
Well, yeah, because they didn't have Ronnie Cox in this one. I assume like maybe they tried or maybe they figured like, you know what, Taggart's already very old, so we don't need a guy who's even older than that.
True enough. He's alive still?
Yeah, he's 85. We just looked him up.
Oh, nice. Yeah, maybe he's just like, no, I definitely am too old for that shit
anymore.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not coming back just to do another Beverly Hills Cop movie. Leave me alone.
And like, how'd you like Kevin Bacon as the villain?
I mean, he was just Kevin Bacon, wasn't it? I thought he was fine. Like as soon as he showed up, you're like, well, he's obviously the bad guy.
Yeah, you called that right.
Well, I mean, even when you saw him in the credits, opening credits, you're like, he's probably going to be the bad guy. Who else is he going to be at this point?
Well, he's almost too famous for that part.
True. Yeah.
So like when you're that famous, like you know it's going to be like
he's not going to be the new like.
Yeah, it would either be him or detective. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's the bad guy. Basically,
very fair enough. Yeah, that's very true.
Like, I'm for folks who want to maybe skip ahead like 1 minute, I'm going to spoil the movie Thanksgiving that just came out last year.
Oh, right, okay.
And I know you're not really much of a horror guy. So
no, I haven't seen it, but that's fine.
But
was that the who did that?
It's Eli Roth.
Yeah, I was going to say it's Eli Roth. Right,
but like the and in that movie is Patrick Dempsey.
Okay.
And then I'm like, I guessed right from just seeing the title screen. I'm like, well, obviously
he's the killer.
He's going to be the killer, right? Like why would he take on this project?
Yeah, and Patrick Dempsey is not the bad guy. Yeah, like, definitely not the killer.
Like it's just like no other killer would have made sense,
right?
Like, and they were like baiting a lot of other people in the movie. I'm just like, but why would Patrick Dempsey have taken on this role if he's not the killer?
It'd be amazing if they just did that as a red herring. Just like killed him off immediately.
What's like in what is it, Executive Decision, when he just killed off Steven Seagal in the first 10 minutes?
I remember reading about that, and like
that's so
he was pissed off about it. But she was like, "What do you mean you're going to kill me off?"
But it's like so brilliant though. Like,
it's a genius move.
Okay, well, along those lines, and another buddy cop movie that we didn't mention is The Other Guys.
The Other Guys, yes.
And they killed off Sam Jack and The Rock.
Yeah,
like right away.
That was a good one. That was a really good one. It's like, what do you think? You're going to jump out for the bush? That's a great scene.
It's like, aim for the bushes is an all-timer. Like, that's such a great line. And then just like,
it's like, what are they doing? Yeah, that was a great, because that is literally what would happen if you were living in an action movie. It's like, no, you'd instantly die if you were like that. Like even in this movie, it's like the amount of like bad aim that the bad guys had, and the amount of bulletproof regular vehicles. Like they're in just like regular cars and they're spraying them with machine guns and everything. It's like, oh, apparently they have bulletproof glass in those cars.
As bad as this one was, like I said this before, I just watched Beverly Hills Cop 3 earlier today.
Oh yeah.
And like the gun action in that one is just so atrocious. Like people will be like looking at each other like from like 10 feet apart in a room, firing each other with the machine guns. One guy will turn around, run towards the door, get through the door, and somehow he didn't get hit with the machine gun.
Which movie is it? Is it one of the Frank Drebin
Naked Gun?
Yeah, we're like 2 feet away over the box. It's a bit like that. No, but I always think that's amazing though, how like all you have to do is like crouch down in a car and you're fine. It's like cars are like made of like paper these days. Like it's not going to stop a bullet. I'm sorry.
Well, and then later and last time I'm going to rag on the third Beverly Hills Cop.
But you know what? Beverly Hills Cop is shit.
At one point towards the end of the movie, he's like hiding behind a like wooden public bench that has like just like slats in it. So like, there's like a bunch of like space in between the slats where he could get shot. And he's just like hiding from like Uzi fire.
Nice.
So yeah, that movie sucks. This movie's good.
There you go. Like, where would you rank this new one then in Beverly Hills Cop? If we did a ranking.
Well,
better than 3, obviously. Is it better than 2?
I don't know if I'd say right away it's better than 2. I want to sit with it a little bit. I think it's on kind of even playing field with that one. 2 has a lot of advantages, like because just the characters are younger and then, you know, Eddie's kind of in his prime.
True.
This one has the advantage, like the plot kind of is more well thought out and like straightforward, coherent. The 2 is a little convoluted. So I'd still say probably 2 has a bit of an edge, but it's pretty close. Like they're both good movies.
Yeah. Like I say, I've not seen 2 for a while, but yeah, I was very.
Well, this one's funnier too. Like,
right. It was legit funny. Like right from the start, it was funny. Like the opening scene with him and that guy watching the hockey game.
Yeah.
It's just like
he's like the Negro Hockey League in Winnipeg.
And that guy's like, my wife couldn't believe it when I said I was going out with Axel Foley.
I love how like everyone in Detroit is just like into Axel
he's just like
Foley.
A hero.
Yeah.
It's like a cult figure in Detroit.
Yeah.
That was funny.
No. Well, and it's kind of like this is kind of like the Detroit franchise, right? Like this.
Yeah, very true.
These movies have always been a bit of a love letter to
RoboCop. But that wasn't as good a one.
Yeah, no,
that was like Detroit's a show.
Well, because like every other like movie that takes place in Detroit, it's all like Detroit sucks.
Yeah, well, even this one a little bit is like I'm from Detroit's a horrible place to be. It's full of crime.
Yeah, but it's always that's fair, but I think he, like Axel Foley as a character has like a lot of pride in being from Detroit. Like true. He's always wearing his Detroit garb and stuff.
Yeah, and Detroit sport jacket and stuff.
I just know people from Detroit, like, it drives them crazy how their city is portrayed in movies and stuff.
No doubt. Yeah.
I feel like probably Beverly Hills Cop is like the best that they're gonna get.
The one where he leaves Detroit for the entire movie franchise.
There's always some stuff in.
Yeah, they always start off there. That's funny. No, I don't know what else to say, but I was like pleasantly surprised with this one. I was not expecting it at all.
Like the other Beverly Hills Cop movies, there's not really ever any mystery to it. Like,
it's a pretty basic plot, right?
Always pegs who the guy is.
Like immediately, this guy's Ben.
Like he was just in an office with Kevin Bacon. He's like, well, that guy's wearing a $2,000 suit. Obviously, he's the guy.
He's a Ben. He's
I feel
a dirty cop.
A little quick.
Yeah, well, but it's like it was totally obvious, right?
Yeah.
Like they did, like you say, they don't make there's no mystery. There's not real mystery in the plot of like what's going on. It's just like, yeah, these are the bad guys, and it's always like they're smuggling drugs or they're doing something.
Yeah,
it's like we're keeping it very simple with what's going on here. We've got dirty cops and they're trafficking drugs.
Yeah,
with the cartel done.
Yeah, and what else do you need?
Yeah, what did you think about what's his name, the character who was like the uncle character? Forget the actor's name.
Oh, Luis Guzman.
Yeah, what do you think of that character? That was an interesting choice.
A lot of interesting choices. Yeah, like in the character himself says, I've got a lot going on. I'm complex. Yeah. I'm like, yes, you are. Like,
was that a Shrek call out? Because he said you're an onion.
I thought that too.
Yeah, it's like I'm layered like an onion. It was like, oh man, they're doing Shrek.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Eddie Murphy doesn't seem like a kind of guy who would even remember that that's a line from Shrek.
No, maybe not. If the screenwriters just put that in to fuck with him.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, but no, I thought that was good. Like it pretty much like a useless scene, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I think that's to the point where I was like that whole scene and then them framing them, which seemed like a pointless endeavor. It just needed them to be on the run, I guess, so they could go by themselves and just do whatever.
Well, I said before, I didn't really like that Taggart was on the out so much, but
like even accused him in that one scene. It's like, are you involved? And you're like,
what the hell?
Yeah.
But the fact that he said, like, when people told him that, Axel Foley got found with cocaine in his possession, he's like, okay, I know this is bullshit.
Yeah, like now I'm getting involved.
So that beat was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess maybe like 10, 15 minutes could have been trimmed from this. I think it makes it a bit better of a movie.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything where it's like this whole thing just needs to be jettisoned. I think maybe just cutting stuff down a little bit.
Well, because 2 hours ends up being a little long for an action comedy. You want like 145 to be the ceiling on that sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just keeps it skipping along nicely, right? When you just not weighed down so much. Yeah, especially because I felt like a lot of it was just like, okay, we're hearing this again. Especially with him and the daughter. I know they were like pushing that as like the main thread of the movie was him rekindling his relationship with his daughter. But I just felt like, okay, we just keep doing the same thing. Yeah, like 4 or 5 times here. Just move on.
It is interesting though, like that the movie, it has like the thing with his daughter, and then the thing with like a new younger cop, and like that seems like it would be too much.
Yeah. Yeah,
but like true. I never really felt that during it. Like I felt like they gave them each like that leeway.
Yeah, that's fair. Like I actually felt like I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character was the one that got short shrifted the most. Yeah, I feel like he was like I think I already said, he was just kind of there because they needed that character, but they didn't really give him a whole lot to do.
Well, he definitely signed on to the movie because they said you're going to be Axel Foley's partner in this, without him realizing that. That's only going to be for like 2 scenes or whatever. Exactly. You're going to be more of just the love interest on the sidelines. Yeah, but no, I felt like it mostly works. Like, it definitely does. Yeah, pretty decent movie, pleasantly surprising. Yeah, I felt that the whole end scene with the mansion, it was so much just a throwback to the first one. Yeah, I was like, is this the exact same mansion that they went to in the first movie? It could have been. Like, they even redid a lot of the scenes, like with all the police cars crashing on the way in. That's in the first movie. Well, they're in the back of the truck, and instead of boxes of cigarettes, it's those statues or whatever. Yeah, that's what I mean. There's a lot of stuff like that where it's like callbacks to, like, if you just seen it, you're like, oh, that's calling back to that. But if you hadn't seen them for a while, you would never really notice, and it wouldn't, because it's not out of place in the movie. Yeah.
It's
Well,
just
not I'm not like a diehard fan or whatever. Like I'm noticing that stuff because I just watched them very
exactly.
recently.
We watched them very recently.
So like I gotta say, like my project of getting caught up with Beverly Hills Cop had a good capper on it. Sorry, my cat's swiping at his own tail.
He's chasing his own tail for real.
Yeah, he'll do that occasionally.
Yeah, that shadow's pretty scary. No, I think your cat's always had a cameo when we've done them from your house.
I think so. Yeah, he was going crazy in the Star Wars episode.
Yeah, he's a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that'll be a good time to end it.
Yeah, I think we've probably
any final words on?
Yeah, I think we've covered off Axel F pretty well.
Yeah,
well, we didn't mention the song. I thought they did a good job of introducing it in some kind of new and interesting ways. Like the very sad, Axel Foley. Oh, Axel Foley's sad. And then the new mix with who is it that did the mix?
Lil Nas X.
Nas X. Yes.
Yeah, my wife was watching the movie with us, and she's like, "Oh, this is a hot track. I gotta search this down."
Gotta get the new Crazy Frog version by Lil Nas, whatever.
Crazy Frog version.
But no, I thought because that was another thing, right? They could have just really overplayed that and just like hammered it. But I thought they did it. They didn't overdo it, and they changed it just enough and like put it subtly into the score at certain parts. I thought they did that quite well.
It's actually kind of funny because like even in the first one, they overdid it.
Oh man, they hammered it.
It's the most
like every scene
character theme.
It's just every scene where he's doing something. It's just like, let's just play it again, run it again.
Well, they knew they had a bang.
Yeah, they're like, this is amazing. I feel like they did it after the fact they recorded. It was like, okay, where can we put this in the movie? Just go back for the movie and can we just insert this anywhere it fits.
Can we make this movie entirely this theme?
Just have it on repeat in the background. No, that's the only. I think that's the only thing I'd forgot to mention. But no, I think pretty much covered everything off there.
I don't know what my rating would be. Like, maybe like a solid 5 out of 6.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's definitely like not middle, but it's not like it's not hitting the heights. It's not like it's not like it's not a masterpiece or anything.
Well, she wants just a nice Netflix comedy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it gives me hope for Eddie Murphy's future.
Eddie's back, baby. That's the final word.
I'm not going to say that. But Eddie's still around, and he's doing all right.
You can quote Pete on that one.
Yeah, Sharper says, the first final word officially says he's back.
That's what the headlines are going to be tomorrow.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy back. Yeah.
The spinning newspaper.
All the trades are going to pick up our quotes now and misquote me to hell.
Yeah.
No, but I don't think we have anything more to say about Axel Foley, right?
Yeah, well,
I keep calling it Axel Foley. That's not what it's called.
It's called Axel F.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, well, drop us a line at firstlookfinalwordpod@gmail.com. Do you like that?
Yeah.
Did you like the movie? What's your favorite buddy cop? Is Eddie Murphy back? Is my cat crazy?
Well, we all know that's true. Yeah, there's no excuse for not watching it. We know you all have got a Netflix account, even with the ads for $6. This one's definitely worth your time.
Yep. Get a free trial.
Yeah, just do it if you try. Watch Axel Foley and Bridgerton and call it a day.
Yeah, I'll give you my password. Just send me a message.
Yeah, just if you email us.
Yeah, rate us 5 stars. Put in your comment. Give me your Netflix password, and I'll do it.
You will. Hold into it. I won't. All right. Well, until next time. I think that's the final word. Thanks, guys.
All right. See you guys.